Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon, and joining me today, I've got somebody. That's right. I have a friend. I was able to convince someone to come and hang out with me for the afternoon. It is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. What's up, Hinks?
Dude, you did great yesterday.
You're
good at talking to yourself. The radio did that for you.
I've been talking to myself for 36 years. It's just someone's willing to pay me for it now. No, I thought yesterday was a lot of fun. And listen, it was good. It's the mailbag. It's not as if, it's like when there's a post game. There's something to discuss. I can just tell you about this, and then we go from there. And honestly, mailbag, it's like, well, I don't have to listen to Charlie's well-reasoned answers. I can just tell you what I think, and I'm getting pushback. But I can barely see the comments. So those people, if they disagree, I'll never know it. But I want to start today with a little bit of playoff talk.
Let's talk about those
because there's a couple of games tonight, and I think both series are over. We can talk about the Bruins today, obviously. A fun anniversary for Flyers fans, maybe not Bruins fans, but they got their revenge like a year later, so it is what it is. About that, though. I choose to ignore the 2011 series as if it did not happen. But I want to start with the Oilers and Canucks series because, man, it's only 2-1. It could be a tie series. I feel like the Oilers are cooked, and it's something real dumb. When Connor McDavid takes that double cross check and the Oilers bench doesn't empty, it reminded me of, if you've ever heard Keith Jones tell the story of running Dominic Hasek. No one really thought everyone loved Hasek, but in that playoff series, he does it, and some guys jump him. And he says he didn't take one punch to the face. It was very just, listen, we have to do this.
Right, yeah.
You hit our goalie. And so he did it again. And that was just like, it was like, I'm going to get away with it.
Yeah.
If you can get away with cross-checking Connor McDavid in the back and in the face without someone, Knobloch needs to come over someone needs to do something extraordinarily stupid, because it doesn't matter how long you get suspended for.
No.
Your season is over if Connor McDavid can just get the shit kicked out of him. And that's really what it looked like to me. I know there's a lot more going on. Listen, I think I think the Canucks are just a deeper team. They have a lot of guys kind of just going at the right time. We know the problems with the Oilers. They don't have the depth. If their goalie isn't great, they're not going to keep a ton of pucks out of the back of their net.
They also have, fittingly for today, the same problem that the 2010 Flyers had, in that their third pair, Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci, are trash. They can't be on the ice because they're terrible. So they got that going for them, too.
I just can't believe Cody Ceci still. He might not even. How old is Cody Ceci? You could say it.
Oh, more like Kakapipi. I'm sorry. It was
he's only
building
30.
up in my head.
He's only 30. I feel like
he's only 30.
I feel like he's 37.
I feel like he's been in the league the entire time I've been watching hockey.
It's just, that is wild. And you think, those guys, while maybe you don't want to, especially Darnell Nurse, pay him what you're paying him, I think of them as at least serviceable. Together, it hasn't been good.
Not good.
Not very good at all. And now I'm going to switch to the Bruins real quick.
That one's giving me joy. I really like that
It's
series.
Really nice.
It's nice.
But I got to say, the team I feel like I'm watching this series, and the team I'm thinking about most is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
The Bruins are not good. They're not bad. They're not a bad team the way the Caps and the Islanders were a bad team.
They're not the Bruins of 2 or 3 years ago.
They're not.
Yeah.
They were at no point actually cup contenders.
Not really, no.
And they get out to the 3-1 lead on the Leafs. Yes, it goes 7, but then, they lose game. The Bruins win game 7. if you're a Leafs fan, what are you thinking? How far away are we? Like, we've had this run going with this core. How far away actually are we?
I wonder if they're looking at it thinking like we could have done better. But I don't know if they could have, honestly. Florida is just like, when Florida gets going, they're just so good. And like when their goalie gets, it's just like, I don't know, Florida's a machine. They've been a machine for so long. I did not pick them to win the cup this year, but like, I kind of want them to because I feel like it's their time in a way. It would have been nice if they had done it when G was there, but.
It's funny to think about that because, 3 years ago, they have that incredible run in the regular season. They add Claude Giroux. They go out in the first round. Yeah. Then last year, they're okay. And they go on this incredible run. And oh, wow, this is the goalie really but they're not. By the time they got to the final, they were dead. Yeah. They were out of gas. And Vegas was, it was very much their year. Yeah. And just a year later, Florida might be, are they the best team? I think they are in the East. I feel very silly for not picking Florida to come out of the East. Even, honestly, like looking at it, if the Hurricanes and Rangers were always going to have to play each other, the rest of the East is no good except for the Panthers. I should have just seen that.
That's a fair point.
Like, it really seems as if they're at least going again.
The Canes, though, are frustrating because, like, they're losing because of like silly things. Like their power play has completely dried up. They have like the Flyers power play now for some reason, with a lot more talent than the Flyers have. So like, there's really no reason why they shouldn't be scoring power play goals. And then also, very frustratingly, just as a Flyers fan, the Rangers are just good. Yeah. It's so obnoxious.
A lot of people just didn't believe in them this year.
I didn't. I guess because I didn't want to.
They just kept winning.
I know.
Like, it was just one of those lists. Oh, they do this and this. Like, at no point did it until like a stretch near the end, maybe, did it seem like Shesterkin's going and he's the best player on their team? Yeah. And now all of a sudden it was just, well, if they get the best dude on their team going.
Right. Now
at what point, and Panarin's been good all year. They have a really deep defense. So I like the Rangers. I don't know what made me pick the Carolina Hurricanes. I just figured maybe like eventually it had to happen for them.
Yeah, there's that. And also, like, I mean, they were good in the regular season. It's not like they were a bad team. I don't think it was a strange pick to make.
No, I mean, there's 3 good teams.
Charlie picked them too, right?
I believe
he's the smart one.
I think he has them losing in the final to Dallas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I have them beating Edmonton. So I
think I picked the Leafs, so, you know.
Well, you also picked the Flyers. So. Yeah. Next year. I'm looking at it like, oh man, it's another one I really screwed up. But it's Stanley Cup playoffs. There's really no right answer.
Everyone's just guessing. People that pretend they're not guessing are silly gooses.
Anyway, before we go any further, I want to tell you about our friends at Bet Parks. Just looking at some of the lines to the games tonight, and Florida pretty heavy favorites, minus 225 against the Bruins. They are the home team. Florida is, but. Looking at Vancouver, yes, it is basically a must-win game for Edmonton. Are they eliminated if they lose? No, but it's 3-1, and we kind of know how that goes. Unless Scott Stevens shows up for the Oilers. Vancouver is plus 163 tonight. That might be something I'm looking at, just in terms of, should they ever be an underdog in this series? They've kind of owned it. It's kind of been their series. So that's something I'm looking at here on the Bet Park Sportsbook app. Of course, you can get all of the props, all of the futures, all the money lines, the puck lines, totals, anything you're looking to bet right here at the Bet Park Sportsbook app. You can get in the zone with Bet Parks. Money is in the moments, and you can win big with all-day action. If you win your first $10 bet, you can earn $125 in sports bonus bets. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet. Download the app and play along with us. Must be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And that brings us to today's anniversary, Hinkle.
Yes.
It was May 14th, 2010. the Philadelphia Flyers completed the comeback against those Boston Bruins, down 3-0 in the series. They come back and win in Game 7 in Boston after trailing in that game 3-0. I said this in the tweet previewing for the link to the show. I wish this isn't what we were doing today. But unfortunately, there haven't been a ton of highlights.
Nothing's happening in the Flyers world right now.
Since that Game 7, what has there really... The Mike Richards shift in against Montreal.
The shift was
which
good.
was, a couple of days later.
Right.
The overtime win against the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say anything in 2011 was a highlight. They needed 7 to beat a Buffalo team that hasn't gone to the playoffs since then.
No.
And that series basically ended the Flyers. Even though they won it, it was it. They quit against Boston. They trade everyone. 2012, it's the Giroux hit on Crosby. And these are our highlights.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
The high point is a second round series win 14 years ago. I wish these weren't the cards we've been dealt, but they are, so we're going to talk about them, goddammit.
Also, if you give me and Bill Matz an opportunity to talk about Mike Richards for 20 minutes, we're going to do it. So just deal with that.
I saved this question for today because I knew you'd be here, even though yesterday was Mailbag Monday, and it's from one of our frequent mailbag participants, Paul with the great car ideas. Says favorite Flyers seasons you remember watching, or your favorite Flyers teams, some of your favorite trades, just kind of going back in history and everything. Looking at guys who might be on the move this offseason as well. We'll talk plenty about that.
Canadian. You got a Canadian fan.
Yeah, I do. I do love when we get questions with the favorite with the U in it.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in that. But just that 2010 team, man, it was setting up that season. Talking about trade, Chris Pronger was a dude that was always him.
Yes,
I'd like him, please.
Yeah, right.
And they go out and it's I don't know, he's kind of old, isn't he? And he comes in and he's everything you want Chris Pronger to be. The open ice hits are kind of gone, but that was working its way out. Mike Richards was one of the last dudes who threw open ice hits.
Yeah.
It was he keeps decapitating guys, so we're probably going to have to make this illegal. But Pronger he's the best defenseman we've ever had. Unfortunately, not in his prime. I guess you can say the same about Paul Coffey.
Yeah. Paul Coffey's pretty good. Also, he was end of the road.
100
right, yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, the Flyers getting Chris Pronger was it's just something that I never expected to happen. And the trade was so inconsequential as far as what we gave up.
It was Spiza, Lupul, and 2 more firsts, maybe just 1 more. It wasn't if Spiza was just taken in the first round, maybe he had a year of experience, something like that. So it was basically a first round pick. Basically last year's first, maybe this year's and Joffrey Lupul. I liked Lupul, and it was fun having that 08 team that had 7 guys all score 20 goals or something like that. But it was very clear the Flyers needed a number 1 defenseman.
Right.
And okay, they got one. He's in his mid-30s. We'll see how this goes.
Right, yes.
And for one season, it was awesome. It was the second year, he only played 50 games, but he was pretty good. And then we never see him again.
Yeah.
And after that couple of games into the third season. But I always think we've now finally realized how good Pronger was because we haven't had anyone close since. But
not even
2 defensemen since the 40s have won an MVP. Bobby Orr won 3 in a row or something.
Yeah.
And Chris Pronger won 1. That's it. Bobby Orr's the greatest of all time. I don't care what anyone says.
That's crazy.
Him, Lidstrom, and then Pronger and whoever else you want to put on your defense, Mount Rushmore in my mind. Getting him was kind of surreal. Almost didn't understand it. Really? What's the matter with it? It was
right. Yeah.
So he's got a fake leg or something. he's on a peg leg, something like that. But it was falling down 3-0 in that series. What did you feel like?
Oh, it was over for sure.
Yeah.
100% over. And I'm fairly sure even when they won the first,
It's like, yeah,
Still,
all right, they're not getting
cool.
swept.
At least they're not getting swept. That's nice. The real feeling that I remember from that Game 7 specifically, and this is the one that's like in hindsight a real bummer. When we won that game, I thought for sure, like, we're fucking doing it. We are doing it. Like, this is the year. It's happening.
That's the heartbreaking thing.
Yeah.
About is like, you don't have a moment like that to not win it all.
Yeah.
You don't come back from 3-0 against like Philly, Boston. That's a thing, man. Like, this is a big deal. And then they don't win. Like, that's when Patrick Kane scores that goal in Game 6, it's like, I didn't believe it.
No.
Like, when they were like, no, it's in. I was like, no, this can't possibly be true. We didn't do all that to just lose.
Yeah.
And no, we did.
We did. But just to rewind before we had our souls crushed. Where were you? Where'd you watch the game?
Oh, that's Milwaukee.
That's right.
I've told this story, but
it's a good story.
It's me and some of my buddies, like Frankie, my buddy Mike. Like, we're up at my college house watching that Boston series. They probably fell down 2-0 or 3-0 or something that night, and I'm telling them it's going to be 80s weekend in Milwaukee for the Phillies series, and the Phillies are going to wear their powder blues, and they didn't wear them ever then. Like, this was a new thing for them to be wearing them. So we're like, all right, like, what's a flight to Milwaukee cost? Like, we planned this trip. It cost nothing to fly to Milwaukee. Game tickets basically free.
Yeah.
And my buddy Mike, I'm like, guys, just to throw this out there, that Friday, the Game 1 of the series will be Game 7 of this. I was like, Mike, I just don't think we're going to have to worry about that, man. And like, fast forward a few days, and here we are it was Miller Park at the time, all wearing Flyers shit.
Amazing.
And they had a, what was there? It was a TGI Fridays in the stadium.
Ooh.
And it was May of 2010. You could still smoke indoors in Milwaukee.
What a time to be alive.
They were getting rid of it, I think, like July 1st, and they were all like pissed.
Yeah, of course.
We were like, I don't know. It's been gone for like 3 years at home. I don't know what to tell you, man. But we're at this TGI Fridays, and they fall down 3-0 in the game that they turned on for us. It was like a bunch of Milwaukee fans. Like, what are we doing? I was like, Game 7, man. We're watching. Yeah. We're watching this. And all these Milwaukee fans start buying us drinks because they think if they're nice to us, we're Philly fans.
Oh, yeah, you won't.
We're not going to destroy the place.
Right, yeah, okay.
And then they start to come back, and everyone's like cheering for us. They don't give a shit. So they're all just on our side. And it was so much goddamn fun. Like, it was just a tremendous, tremendous time. And like, I was in Milwaukee, they advertised the world's best Long Island iced teas there.
Oh.
They were pretty good. They were pretty good.
How can you make one better than another?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's not for me to say.
That's true.
Where did you watch the Game 7?
I was at the Farg.
Oh, you were there. You went to those viewing parties, man. Those were awesome.
They were so fun, and that one in particular was crazy because the entire lower bowl was filled with people there to watch it on television. It was clear at the time that the building people did not plan for that many people to show up for this, because I don't think you had to get tickets. I think you just showed up. Like, they only had like a few concession stands open. Like, they were obviously planning for not a lot of people. And it was packed, and people were like, just like staring at like, it was just like, I mean, it was watching a hockey game on television with 20,000 people pretty much. And at the end of it, just like, the energy in the room was just insane. Like, you're hugging strangers. Everyone's high-fiving each other on the way out. It was just like crazy. And like, I don't know that I'm ever going to feel that feeling watching the Flyers again until we're doing the thing.
You know what always cracks me up about that game is Simone Gagne scores the winner on the power play.
Yeah.
It's a too many men on the ice penalty. Like, Boston melted down in a way that usually only Philadelphia teams melt down.
Yes.
It was like, that is something very, very funny.
I mean, you have to admit, like, the way it must have been getting into their heads. Like, oh, no fucking way. Like, no way. Like, no way this is going to happen to us.
I'll always remember the next year the Flyers are down 3-0 to the Bruins, and I put on Facebook at the time as my status, "History won't be made; it'll be repeated." And Josh Winters, who was the producer for Big Daddy Graham at the time, just replies, "No, it won't."
Oh,
It's like,
come on.
No, it won't be. No, it won't be. But that was a very special season, and it just sucks
really
they
was.
couldn't. Have you ever noticed we only run into dynasties?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like every team in the city, except for the 08 Phillies, ran into a dynasty, and that was the only championship I saw for the longest time.
Did the William Penn statue is still up on top of the Comcast building, right? Like they kept that thing up there? Okay. Because that was the year that they put it up there. Isn't it?
The little guy.
To make sure that we weren't cursed by William Penn anymore. That seemed to
You would think it would like.
It's got to still be up there,
But the other one's bigger now, right? So they need to put it up there.
Yeah, it's got to go on top of the USB port.
Can we just get like a drone or something?
Yeah, just like a hot air balloon.
What if we just move the one on City Hall on top of something bigger?
Yeah.
How hard could that possibly be?
Can't be that hard. Get a helicopter to lift it up there. That feels doable.
That feels doable.
You ever see like those videos of them like transporting like horses that's just like dangling from a helicopter? Just take
you ever
William Penn
wonder
up on a
like
helicopter.
what is that horse thinking?
I know.
Like, I am fucking flying. I am a horse. I am the ultimate animal. I am God. That must be what the horse is thinking. I am God. Like that. There's no other explanation.
I will never come down from this. This is
Like when they
now.
start to lower it, like, oh no, the dream is gone. Anyway, all right. So that's us looking back at 2010.
Nothing will top it until they top it.
Really, like, so many things had to go right for, like, they've never had a dude be Billy Lano again.
I know. Who out of nowhere?
Like Charlie made the comparison with the Wade Allison trade. It was like, yeah, they brought in Dennis Garyanov, and maybe he gets hot and he's Billy Lano for you for a couple of weeks. It's like, how did we not just find one dude who could be that? Just, oh wow, we didn't lose a guy and he went on to be awesome somewhere else.
No,
we just
awesome
found
here.
the dude and he was great for 2 years. Well, a playoff and another season.
Yeah. And then we got rid of him and he sucked forever.
And then he was horrible.
Yeah.
Like one of the worst contracts ever handed out. It's like people in Buffalo still talk about that contract.
And he named his clothing line Billy Bano. What a strange man. I want to know everything about him. Anyway.
We need to get him on the show.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know how the Avs guys have an old player?
Yeah.
You guys should have Billy Lano.
That would
What's
be really
he doing? He's just designing jackets.
Yeah,
Get him in here.
Probably a millionaire. I mean, from his contract, yeah, but
Yeah. Just come hang out here. Just push the jackets.
come chill. I'll wear the jacket. All right.
I'm firing myself for Billy Lano. I would be okay with it, I think.
We'll have you on with Billy. Get rid of Charlie. Did you? I know I set myself up for it.
Yeah.
The Dr. Evil Gritty edit.
Oh my God.
Of me saying that it is Charlie.
That's the other person that I'm firing myself to bring on the show. We're going to have Dr. Evil Gritty as the third mic on the Charlie and Bill show.
Oh God. It would be.
With like the Dr. Evil Gritty would just wear the dog mask the whole time so as not to reveal their identity.
That would actually be really freaking funny.
I'm Dr. Evil Gritty, call us. Like you can come on the show and wear the dog mask.
That would be stupendous.
I'm okaying it.
All right,
I haven't asked anyone else.
Let's get another question in. But
Sorry.
that was the 2010 team. Has there been any team that came close to 2010?
No, not even
I mean,
a
like
little
the
bit.
2012, it was one series.
Yeah.
Like they won game 1 against the Devils and then essentially got swept. And they haven't won a second round game at home since.
We've talked about this before. It was just like the right time in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were the right age for like that team to be like our peers pretty much. And it was just so special. And Richards Carter and Pronk. It was just like everything was good. Carcillo, like everything was good. And I just don't think I'm ever going to experience anything like it again.
And we had a weird, like, fans in the city had a weird, this belief that things could go right for the first time. Like, the Phillies had won the World Series in 08. They went back in 09. Like, the The Eagles went to the NFC Championship. Like it was a pretty high point in terms of we've had multiple playoff runs.
Yes.
Out of different teams. Like the Flyers had been to the Eastern Conference Final 2 years prior. Like they were on a good stretch, and
now
because Pierre Laviolette couldn't communicate with his rookie goalie. We are where we are now. As that goalie's about to win a Stanley Cup, probably. Yeah. All right, let's go to FotoDave. We're done reminiscing, at least for now. Another friend of the pod, FotoDave. Since we're less than a month from Phillies in London, if the Flyers ever played internationally again, where would you, one, want it to be, and two, be willing to travel to in order to see it in person? Obviously, there's a lot of cool places.
Yeah.
To which anyone can travel.
Sure.
But I would want to go somewhere that I wouldn't have an opportunity to go otherwise.
Yeah.
Like the Prague trip and all that was cool because I'm never going there.
Right. Yeah.
That would have been fun to do. My buddy Frankie went for Oktoberfest and all that shit.
Neat.
He like traveled around, went to the game and everything, and he said that was a blast. But somewhere like that, like Sweden, Finland.
Yeah.
A place where hockey's highly regarded, so the atmosphere is going to be cool.
Yes.
And somewhere I'm not going otherwise.
Yeah. I can't remember. I feel like I've been asked this question before, and I can't remember where I was asked it. But anyway.
Probably the last time we did Mailbag.
Probably. My general answer is Finland, because it's extremely high on my list of places I want to go. And because, like, for example, if the Flyers were playing there, like, to start this season, I would 100% go because I want to go see the Northern Lights this year anyway. So it would be like a whole cool trip. And plus, Finland seems like a cool place to go. Hockey is like obviously the thing there, so it would be a big deal. We, strangely enough, have a lot of fans in Finland somehow. Like I feel like we have a lot of Finnish.
Yeah, people get I always get pushback when I say Sweden and Finland are the same place to me. And they're like, no, it fucking isn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I went to American public school.
Same
I just kind of know basic areas.
Yeah. And then, like you said, like some place that I wouldn't normally choose to go would be cool. Like some place like, I don't know, like New Zealand or some shit would be neat.
Yeah.
Like, did somebody going to Australia, or did somebody go to Australia last year?
Maybe that was last year.
That would be neat.
I feel like they did like was it the Lightning played like a down under, like something like that?
Yeah. That would be cool. But then like those they're not hockey places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you lose that a little bit. Like you're in a cool place. It's cool that they're playing a hockey game where they would never play one otherwise. But I feel like I would like it to be like a hockey place.
I've always wanted to go, and like obviously now it's quite a bit more complicated. Oh. I've always wanted to go to Russia.
Yeah.
I've always said if I could teleport, I would love to spend like an hour in Red Square and then like be gone.
Yeah, right.
Be back in Seoul, New Jersey. Like I don't want to like spend a tremendous amount of time there and like end up like Brittany Griner, but
just don't bring your things.
I do want to like see it. Like so there's that balancing act there.
Kings Coyotes were in Australia.
Like that's okay.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Yes.
I get like Japan or something for an Olympics, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if it's part of a bigger thing.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Especially now that they're paying.
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah, PHLY.
Yeah, you and Charlie could probably get flown anywhere.
Make it happen.
There's not, I can't imagine there would be a place where I'd be like, nah, I don't feel like it.
You know where I want to see him play? New Orleans. Let's get an expansion team because I want to go back.
You don't want to let's go to the first game in Utah like we did with Vegas.
We'll
party until 8 p.m. or whatever they do in Utah.
I feel like my chances of getting locked up in Russia and Utah are exactly the same.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I'm not making it out of either place.
No, you're probably right. We would be shunned. The Flyers would no longer be allowed to play there.
Which is for the best for everybody.
Everybody, really.
You know what we would do? Instead of just going buck wild, we would drink a ton of Olipop.
Olipop.
That's right.
Oh God, that was good. What a segue.
Olipop is the world's first functional soda with a classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support gut health. Olipop is a new kind of soda with only 2 to 5 grams of sugar in every can, plus 9 grams of fiber in every can. 2 out of every 3 Americans say they suffer from digestive issues, and 95% of Americans don't get the daily recommended amount of fiber. Olipop is tackling both these issues with a drink that tastes just like soda. Prebiotic fiber is the food source for the beneficial probiotic bacteria in your gut, and Olipop has 9 grams of prebiotic fiber in every can that can help support your digestive health. And Olipop is available online and in almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including the most recent launch at Wawa. So now you can, I don't know, maybe get one of these. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Get one of these Wawa pizzas, as well as a delicious can of Olipop, either the strawberry vanilla or the classic root beer, which have launched at Wawa. I kind of am a big fan of both.
I know you've been enjoying it.
I was never into root beer before, but whenever there's one in our fridge, I'm like, oh, I'll do that. That's pretty good.
Try it, because I also don't really like root beer, but
it's not bad.
I trust
I'm telling you, in terms of root beer, it's one of my favorites.
All right.
You can use the code PHLY20 for 20% off your next order of Olipop at drinkolipop.com. Discount only applies to one-time orders, not to subscriptions. Olipop's also available on Amazon and in 30,000 retailers nationwide, including Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, and GoPuff. Me personally, I'm telling you, go to drinkolipop.com. Get your 20% off with PHLY20. All right, where were we? Oh, this one. We had this question yesterday, and I think maybe I'm missing something. So it's from Spring Flower Apple. What do you think the percentage chances that the Flyers can get Brady Tkachuk? Do you think they're actually willing to move him? I just can't imagine that's a real possibility.
Yeah, I need to know. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell us, where are these Brady Tkachuk rumors coming from? Because this isn't like the first time that I've seen it.
The only thing I can think is people are just like, Matt didn't want to play in Canada. He only wanted to play in America. So maybe Brady's the same way.
All right. In that case, come home.
That said, I don't know. Maybe he wants to go play with his brother in Florida. Maybe he wants to go to Dallas, like one of these nice places.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what is Brady Tkachuk? What is his contract situation?
I have trouble believing they want to move their guy.
Like an odd choice, given that we were talking about this before the show. Like, if you're trading Brady Tkachuk, you're
starting over.
You're starting over, but like you just started.
Yeah, he's like 24.
You can't. You can't be starting over again. And even if you are starting over, like, he's young enough that you can start over with him there.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine a situation in which, I mean, if they do.
Like, maybe, like, if you trade him to, like, San Jose for the #1 pick, I guess. But, other than that, what even makes sense?
So he doesn't have a no move until 25-26.
But he is under contract.
He's under contract until 27-28. He makes a lot of money, but, like, so... he's good. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, if the Flyers could get Brady Tkachuk, you get Brady Tkachuk. There's no world in which that makes sense to me.
All right. I didn't think so, but no. I thought maybe I missed something.
I love the dream of a Tkachuk brother on the Flyers. I feel like we're going to have one of the Tkachuks when they're 33.
There's going to be a third one that pops up in like the 4th round of a draft, like the Strome brother.
Right. The bad Tkachuk brother. Yeah. That one. He's 5'6". Terrible skating.
Yeah. Great slap shot.
Keith can't stand him.
Yeah.
Keith gets shunned from the family.
You never see him anywhere. Oh, God. All right. This is we'll go to a question from Marshy now.
Marshy. Brad Marsh?
Frost extension, or are they going to go a different route? Frost will be eligible for an extension. He is still, like, when his contract expires, I believe he has 1 more year of team control. So it's not like there's a big rush to get him an extension. But he did sign a 2-year deal last year, and there's 1 year left on it, I believe. You never know what they're going to do with more, like... I wouldn't be shocked if they do extend him July 1st. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade him at the draft. I wouldn't be shocked if he's the extra forward to start next season. Like, nothing they do with Morgan Frost will shock me.
No, because first of all, like, there's so many things. Like, we need centers. So, like, probably best not to trade one of the ones that's, like, actually serviceable.
He's the only one right now.
Right. Okay, so there's that fact. But then there's also the fact that the coach scratched him in the last game of the season when they absolutely had to win. So that was strange. I guess he's not out of the doghouse all the way, which seems to be a problem. There's like a million reasons. Like, you could probably get some kind of asset for him because he's not a bad player, as he's demonstrated many times. So if you decide that he's not part of the team, you could probably get something for him. I don't know. There's a million things they could do. I really hope that, like, we don't have to sign anyone July 1st. Like, could we just not? Like, could we just, like, let's just
take a minute,
settle down. Let's see how the summer plays out. If you want to sign these guys September 1st after you figured out all your shit this summer, okay, that's fine. But, like, we don't have to rush into contracts with anybody who expires next year.
Like, you can also do these things in January.
Right.
You know? Like, let's see them play well for half a season.
Yeah, like, what if you sign Travis Konechny and then he injures his back like friggin' Sean Couturier? Now you're stuck with him for 9 years or whatever. Like, let's just take a minute. That said, they should probably keep Morgan Frost. He's pretty good, and we don't have any centers. So unless you're going to get some centers, we probably need some warm body to play center for the Flyers.
Some kind of viable replacement.
Yeah.
Like, Sean Couturier looked like shit for the second half of the season.
Yes.
There are no other centers. I expect like Ryan Poehling, who we're hoping is the fourth line center. That doesn't count.
Well, the problem is that Torch seems to think he's the first line center.
Seems to believe he's a 2C. So whatever. But like Scott Lawton, I badly want to see him traded this offseason. I just named all the centers.
Right, that's
There's
everybody.
no more.
Nobody else.
There's like 4. 2 of them belong in the bottom 6, and we have no idea if the other one can get through a full season.
Is there like a Boyd Kane on the Phantoms that we can call up? Like, I just don't know what they're going to do at center if they get rid of one of them and don't replace them. So it just seems silly to me when you have a guy sitting right there who's pretty good. I know the coach hates him for some reason, but like, you need centers. So maybe just like keep him, see what happens next year. Sign him or trade him.
Like, if you can trade him for like an upgrade of some kind, or
sure,
if there's a defenseman out there, I don't know. But like, I just don't. I don't see the point in either trading him or extending him right now.
No,
it's just like,
I would do unless you're going to trade him for like in some package for some kind of excellent asset or something. Then do nothing with him this summer. Let him go work out or hang out with Joel Farabee, whatever he's doing.
If I'm him, I'm just like, Danny.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Could you talk to that fucking guy?
Clearly, he doesn't want me here.
Yeah.
So maybe send me somewhere where in a must-win game, the guy who's second on the team in points per game can play the final 30 minutes of the game. Just like
Morgan Frost, though, strikes me as more of a like, I'm going to make dad like me type of guy than a I'm going to get out of here type of guy.
He's never going to love you.
I know.
We have a question from Mike Y. I wanted to save this one for you today because I just fall behind on stuff, and I get in. He asked, what TV shows are you watching right now? I've been on I haven't been watching as many shows.
Yeah.
Like, Ava and I always have like different things we're doing, like cooking dinner, or like she's still working when she gets home and I'm pretending to plan, today's show so I don't have to do any chores or something. And we'll just like throw on a show we watch all the time.
Yeah.
And I rarely like watch anything new. Yeah. But I've been on a big blockbuster movie kick lately. I watched 1998 Godzilla the other night. I might have watched that when I was like 10. But I don't remember it at all. I had a tremendous time watching it.
I love that for
We
you.
went and saw The Fall Guy last night.
Oh, was it good?
It was fucking awesome.
That's nice.
It was so much fun. These are the only movies I like now. I like big, fun summer extravaganzas.
I see no problem with that. That you're meant to be entertained. And especially like going to the movies.
Yeah.
Like going to the movies to see that kind of movie is the best.
Are you watching, that said, are you watching anything new?
I mean, like, shamefully, my television habits are trash. I watch every trash television show you can think of. Real big on the pump rules. You know, every show on Bravo, pretty much. I did actually recently start. There's a show on Apple TV called Dark Matter.
Oh, a bunch of people told me that was good.
Apparently, I read online someplace that it's like getting panned by critics, but there's only 2 episodes out, and I thought they were quite good. Yeah.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, so I'll probably stick with that one. Apple TV does that annoying thing where they drop them once a week,
one at
which
a time.
drives me crazy.
To keep you freaking subscribed.
Yeah.
Bastards.
What else have I watched recently?
I've been catching up on some wrestling. Because like between after WrestleMania and then like there's the end of the Flyers season and then the Stanley Cup Playoffs, it's like I really don't have that much time for wrestling. But I recently was catching up on some the AEW Dynasty pay-per-view. That Danielson Ospreay match was fucking beautiful. It was beautiful. I don't know what else to say about it. But that's like the newest thing I've watched, and that's like a month old.
I'm going on vacation at the end of this week, and I downloaded Shogun because I heard that was good. I downloaded that to watch on the airplane. So we'll see how that goes. Excited for the new season of Shoresy.
Oh, that's right. That's coming soon. Yeah, it's like in Canada now.
I think it started in Canada.
Here. That's
yeah.
I liked Letterkenny a lot. I think it got a little repetitive in the later seasons.
It did, yes.
Shoresy is excellent.
So much better than it has any right to be.
Yes. It's the dumbest shit imaginable.
Yeah.
And it's excellent.
The way, like, not to get too into this, but the way that he was able to flesh out the guy that's in the stall just chirping the hockey players like into a fully formed human that you like care about.
Character.
Yeah. That you like care about and you're rooting for. It's like, how did you make this guy into like a human? Like it's incredible. It's so good.
He might be a genius. Like Jared Keeso might be a genius.
No, he like legitimately, like the writing is incredible. The acting is fucking great because like Wayne and Shoresy are like polar opposite character wise, and he plays both of them perfectly. Like he's real good. I hope that whenever he's done, I don't know if this is the last season of Shoresy. I'm not sure if that's been announced or not, but whenever he's done with these 2 shows, I really do hope that he does something else because he's fucking great and so fun. Like there are episodes of Letterkenny where I have laughed so hard that I like physically can't breathe. It's so funny.
And there's
so like, little things that are that funny anymore. They did
like the subtleties in it are so funny. Just like the Canadianisms are so good.
Yes.
There's a Letterkenny Valentine's Day special. That's where the main skid and Wayne are hanging out. Yeah. And it's like, it's so cool. Yeah. They're like feeding each other one-timers and just like getting along and like finding common ground. Like this is, oh my God.
I know.
Am I emotional watching Letterkenny right now?
It's so good.
It's really, really good stuff. So
it's incredible.
Definitely looking forward. That's a good one. Shoresy is, and it's like a quick watch. It's always like 6-8 episodes, something like that.
Which I hate actually.
Bang, in and out. Yeah. I always want more, but it's how you keep it good.
That's true.
Like, all right. I got to tell you about our friends at TrueMark Financial. We've been telling you about TrueMark Financial Credit Union for a couple of weeks now. A couple of days ago, JP told you the story about he was doing some banking at one of the bigger banks, and he woke up one Saturday and found out doesn't exist anymore. It's been bought. And when we met with the people at TrueMark, they told us actually it might have been a little bit more to that story. It wasn't just bought. It might have just not been up to the greatest practices in the world.
Dear.
And that's why it disappeared. But, you know, it's the stability you get from a credit union. You might think there's more stability. Okay, well, I got to go with one of the big banks because that's where I know my money's going to be safe. That's not always the case, especially considering you look at a credit union like TrueMark and they're federally insured by the NCUA. Your money's just as safe there. And there's a lot of great reasons to go with TrueMark. When you join a credit union like TrueMark Financial, you become part owner, which means profits come back to you instead of going to shareholders. You can get better rates, lower fees, and a better return on savings, plus more flexible options with all the same digital tools and tech you come to expect from your banking partner. And TrueMark has local roots. They're headquartered in Fort Washington and have over 24 branches in the Philly area. They serve our community and our people right here at home. Becoming a member of a credit union like TrueMark has so many benefits over becoming a customer in a bank. almost seems like a no-brainer. So head over to truemark.com/PHLY to learn more or to find a branch near you. That's TRUMARK.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA. All right, where did we leave off here? All right, we're going to go to Flyersfan39. The first question he asks, do you have high hopes for the injured players rebounding with a full camp? And he makes note of Risto, of Drysdale, and of Sean Couturier. My highest hope is Jamie Drysdale because he has the highest upside.
Yes. He's the one I care about being good. Yes.
Well, Sean Couturier, I badly want to just see. I am holding out the belief that he just needs time to figure out what his body needs. How to get through a full 82-game schedule, as I've noted many times. It's been a while.
Yes.
He's now 31. He hasn't done it since he was 26. There's been COVID seasons, his own injuries, all that stuff. It's been a while. So he just kind of needs to adjust to his new reality. I believe that's possible.
Yes.
Jamie Drysdale, it's about staying healthy and reaching his potential. So there's like two things there. And Risto, I just hope they trade him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Ristolainen can go. Obviously, I think that's the best thing just because the contract is bad. If we can get out from under it, got to do it. Coots, I would like to see him just be able to settle into, I mean, like, obviously we need him to be the 1C because we don't have anybody else. But if he can just, like, be our 1C at a 2C level, like, I'm fine with that right now. Like, that's okay.
I need him to eventually settle into being Jordan Staal.
Yes.
Maybe he's not the 70-point player he was when he had Claude Giroux and when his back was working.
Yes.
But he's going to give you some shade of the Selke level two-way play that he gave you a couple of years ago. Like, that's what I need from Sean Couturier.
I'm hoping Drysdale maybe puts on a little weight this summer, get some cheesesteaks in him, goes lifting with the bees. I want to see him come into camp a stronger version of himself because I do think that he's never going to be big, right? Like, he's never going to be a big guy. But I think if he can get more physically strong for his frame, I think that'll probably help with the injuries a little bit. Like, if he's not so easily pushed around, it'll probably help. That's the thing I care about the most because, like, as you said, he's the one that we need. Of those three, he's the one that needs to be good. If the other two fall off, it's like, whatever. They're old anyway. Like, they're not really part of this. If they have to get buried in the lineup, it's whatever. Jamie Drysdale has to be good or we got a problem. So, like, yeah, I really hope he comes into camp looking like a better version of himself.
The other part of his question, what do you see happening with Delorier, and do we need another like him for next season?
Okay, no. To number
think,
two.
Like,
what do you do with two of those?
You have enough, like, Delorier, I see what happens with him being when we play the Leafs, when we play the Rangers, he's maybe in the lineup because they have a heavyweight, so you throw one out there. But mostly I see him doing what he did in the second half of this season, being a healthy scratch more often than not.
Yes.
He's just not very good at hockey. You need tough badasses in this league, especially to win in the playoffs. They need to be good at hockey first and foremost. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, we talk about what built for the playoffs means, and I saw someone say this. There's no such thing. You're either good or you're not.
Yes.
Like, last year's Conn Smythe winner, Jonathan Marchessault, was like 5'9".
Thank you.
Like, you need Matt Tkachuk, Sam Bennett. You need these dudes.
Right.
You know what those guys also are? Fucking awesome.
Good at hockey.
Like,
yes.
That needs to be the first thing.
Yes.
Like, you start there.
Yeah.
And then, like, the other elements you either add or go out and find elsewhere.
Right.
Having the most good players is huge.
I mean, it's a bold statement, Bill, but I tend to believe that the teams with the best players
look at the
win
last
games.
few Cup champs. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas.
Yeah.
They had the most good players.
No, I mean, as much as you want to believe that they won because of Pat Maroon, that's not why they won. They won because they have really, really good players. And Pat Maroon, to be fair, he's not terrible. He's not a liability. He's a guy
like he can go out and give you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like Nick Delorier, I had the question yesterday if you could go on a bender with any player. I picked him. I was well, first of all, I need someone my age. Like, what am I going to hang out with Cam York?
Oh,
I have 12 years on him. What the fuck are we going to talk about? I don't have TikTok.
No.
You know, I like Nick Delorier a lot. He's my kind of guy. If I could have played in the league, I'd want to be him.
Yeah.
But the game is different from when I was 10 years old.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we can't get rid of Delorier. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's just going to be here. It is what it is. And I do think that he's going to play some games, and most of the games he's not going to play. And when he does play, he's going to play 5 minutes, which means that you're going with 11 forwards, which is a detriment to the team. So, like, that's probably what it's going to be.
And that's, I think, the guy you do need in your lineup in that role is Garnett Hathaway.
Yes.
He can do both.
Yes.
Is he an electric offensive player? Like, can you count on him for 15 goals? No.
But we don't need that from him.
He's good. He's a fourth line guy who can get in on the forecheck, do some things for you, stir the pot. Yes. And if the gloves need to be dropped, as we saw, he can do that very effectively.
He will do it. And then you got Nick Seeler who will drop him too.
And that's
last thing we need.
A lot of times I look at, well, they have Rempe. How do you match it? You don't. And guess what? He can't do anything.
No.
He then has no effect on the game.
Yes. Yeah. You don't have to play into it.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. I do like when you can match that guy, but you don't have to force it.
No. Exactly. Yeah.
And then finally, what lessons can we learn from perennial contenders like Boston?
Have better players.
Like Boston had a nice little run. I mean, they were really good for a while. I don't mean to diminish it. Yeah. These last couple of years, what can we learn from them? Have the best goaltending.
I was going to say, and also
they've gotten by with goaltending the last few years, and then when they get to the postseason, it's like, oh, we're outmatched.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't overstate how important your goaltender being hot in the playoffs is. Like, it's really 75% of what's getting you there.
We just talked about that 2010 series. If Tim Thomas comes in at any point, the comeback never happens.
No.
Like, they were just stuck with playing Rask, and it was, you shouldn't, like, the next year they go with Tim Thomas and they dominate.
Right.
Like, it was, you had the answer and you refused to acknowledge it because you wanted to go with the guy, and it's not quite his time yet.
Yeah.
It will be, but it isn't yet.
No.
And they didn't go with the goalie they should have.
Yeah. So
probably happened last year too.
The ticket: have good players, have hot goaltender.
That's really what it comes down to.
Please
the goaltending part is such a pain in the ass
because you don't know when it's going to happen.
You can have an elite goalie,
and then they shit the bed,
and there is absolutely no guarantee he plays at an elite level.
Nope.
And you look at Bobrovsky right now, and it's like, yeah, his postseason career until last year sucked.
Yes.
Like, he was a below average goalie in the postseason for most of his playoff runs.
No one could stop talking about how shit that contract is.
And he also has 2 Vezinas and is really looking like he's going to win back-to-back Eastern Conference final. Like,
it makes no sense. You don't know when it's going to happen. It really is just getting lucky.
And then Michael Leighton has a magical run and then is the worst goalie you've ever seen again in the Stanley Cup. It's just goaltending is so fucked up, man. It has such an outsized impact on the outcome of the game.
Yes.
And there's just no predicting how it's going to go.
No predicting it. It's not like you can't really coach it to be better in the game, like in the moment.
Every head coach is like, I don't know, man. I'll leave that to the goalie coach.
Yeah.
He tells me who's ready, and I play that guy.
The only adjustment you can make is taking one out and putting the other one in. Like, there's just
the other one probably not as good.
Yeah.
That's why you have the guy you have.
Yeah.
Like, and then you Alex Lyon got Florida into the playoffs last year and almost did the same thing for Detroit this year. He's a guy 5 years ago we're like, he's probably a really good AHL goalie.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
I wish anyone could explain it to me.
No one can.
That I really do like. I really do like having Bush on the broadcasts, and I think it's so important to have a goalie because no one else can explain goaltending. Like, you either did it or you're guessing about it.
Yeah, Lundqvist as well on the broadcast is really good at breaking stuff down.
He just says little things. I'm like, oh, that's how you explain that. I get it now.
Yeah, when he broke down how what's his face shouldn't have gone down as fast as he did, I was like, oh,
how he moves his stick with his
yeah.
leg, just little stuff. I'm like,
No,
I played my whole life. I have no idea.
No, it's
because the
really
goalies were
interesting.
off doing their thing,
Right.
while we were just doing everything else.
Yes.
Like there was I never sat in on a goalie meeting.
And like as a fan, like the camera's only on them when they're like,
when the
you know what I
puck
mean?
is-
Like,
yeah.
exactly. It's not, you don't get to watch them the way
Did
you do
he
the
stop it or
skaters.
didn't he? That's
it.
how I determine who's good or who isn't.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just goddamn goalies. How has it always been I guess it's probably been everyone's problem.
That's my
Like-
biggest revelation from this season is that nothing matters but goaltending.
Yeah.
It's like my religion now. You'll never convince me of anything else.
This is an interesting one from Ryan Hodge. It says, biggest drag on the Giroux era was lack of depth and goaltending. If you put prime G and Jake on this current roster, do you think they would be contenders? If not, how far off are they? And I don't know if it was so much. I do think there were years they had decent depth at forward.
Yes.
Like, they're still missing. I guess maybe this defense is like, if everyone is playing, I don't know, like, you take away Sean Walker. I guess if you had those guys, you wouldn't be trading them. But
Yeah.
like, they still don't have a number one defenseman, which they never had, and we still
Right.
have no idea who the goaltender is.
And that's the thing. Like, the goaltending question isn't solved on this team at all.
Like, I think I want to see what Sam Ersson is now, but this is that time we find out what he is. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you put G and Jake, primetime G and Jake, on the October version of this year's Flyers,
like Walker and Hart,
right?
here
Like
still,
maybe we're talking about something.
but
but-
that's a totally different conversation. Like,
Exactly. The end of the year Flyers, I'm not sure how big a difference they would have made.
and even Hart, like, I believe he was a number one goalie. Like, he's one of the 32 best goalies.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
Not
a
elite.
Vezina guy.
No, but the way that the tandem was performing,
Yes.
was going
the way
pretty
that
well.
was
Yeah.
working out,
It was
Hart
going
and
well.
Ersson
Mhm.
in December, it was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is something
Yeah,
we
it was
can
going
do.
well.
But I have no idea what that. And they never. What was the best defenseman they had? 2016 Ghost. There was 2018 with Ghost and Provy as a pair, and
Yeah.
that year those two, like, the underlying numbers were that of the best pairs in hockey.
Yes, they were very good.
That's it.
That's about it.
Like, Andrew McDonald played a lot for those teams.
This organization has a real problem putting together a complete hockey team.
Mark Streit played a lot for those, like,
And then what happened?
and then he broke his penis.
His dick fell off.
It's still the funniest thing of all time that's happened to anyone ever. I would love. There's so many guys I'd like to ask a couple of questions to. Just have like,
Mhm.
how do you feel that was out there? Like, what displaced pubic plate?
Did it come off?
Detached pubic
Yeah.
plate? Was that what it was?
Detached
What does
pubic
that
plate.
even mean?
I don't know.
We just
What
started
is the
sa-
plate? I don't know
Everyone
what
just
that
started
is.
saying his penis fell off, and
Yeah, it
we
did
just
fell off.
went with that.
Forever. It's 2024. We're still saying
How
it.
do you feel about this, Mark? That
I'm
this
sorry.
Is this is what we've been saying about you for like 10 years.
It's too funny to stop.
Anyway,
Anywho.
our last question I wanted to get to
Wooder.
today from wooderfuzz.
Friend of the pod.
Is he? I don't
Wooder
remember
has
this.
been a long time Broad Street hockey person.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
I
A
just-
doctor.
I know-
Dr. Wooder.
Oh, that's great.
Mhm.
With the Devils likely being less injured, Pittsburgh firing their awful power play coach. See how they can just do that?
You can do that.
And a full
apparently.
season without Walker and Hart, like we just said.
Mhm.
What is the argument for the Flyers not getting past for the last playoff spots this upcoming season, barring roster changes? I don't have one. That's a big part of why I think they're going to be worse next, or not even worse. They could have a very similar season,
Yeah.
record-wise.
Yes.
Effort-wise, what they visually look
Visually look the same.
the same or better.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way New Jersey is as bad as they were, and Pittsburgh might be set up to be better.
So, like, you have to think New Jersey is better, but I feel like since Jersey got Doug, I've been waiting for them to be really good, and they've never crossed that threshold.
They were pretty good the season before
they were really good, but like they didn't do anything with it.
They beat the Rangers.
Yeah.
That was their cup.
So like that's not a guarantee. Pittsburgh did fire a coach, but like you don't know that they're going to be better. That's a question mark. It's a maybe.
And like they were what they were with Crosby having an amazing season.
Right.
Not saying he's not going to, because he's awesome.
But he's getting old.
But like at a certain point, it happens.
He's going to fall off.
And it's already maybe happening to Malkin. Letang is not what he was. Yeah, like
they're the same class of guys.
I think New Jersey is a guarantee to be in the top 3 in the division next year.
One would think.
Pittsburgh, I have no idea.
I think they're still sus depending on what they do this offseason.
Yeah, they have stuff to do. I assume the Islanders are going to do stuff because they're locked into so many contracts. It's like, well, we can't start over. So we need to just keep doing stuff.
Yeah, but Lou stinks. So he's never going to do anything good.
He could do something that makes them marginally better, and they did just make the playoffs. Like, I just think the East is going to be... The East was not good this year, and the Flyers did miss the playoffs.
They sure did.
Like, Washington might be worse next year, but they did finish ahead of the Flyers. You know, like, these things did happen. I expect the East to be better, and I think the Flyers are going to make some subtractions. So I don't expect them to make... What's the argument for them making the playoffs? Is it like Forster's better, Drysdale's better, Brink is better, like that stuff?
Yeah, it would have to be
Farabee doesn't disappear.
A bunch of guys getting better.
Couturier plays the second half.
Yeah. Fedotov has to turn into a serviceable NHL goaltender. That's got to happen.
We get some semblance of middle of the season Ersson.
Yeah.
For most of the year, and on the times he doesn't play, like, they don't allow 7 goals.
Yeah.
Like, right. Fedotov is at least a serviceable backup.
He's got to be at least Brian Elliott. So those things have to happen. I mean, I can't answer this question until I see what Danny Briere does this summer. I don't know what he's going to do. The thing is, like, the idea, if he does nothing this whole summer, I'm going to get to September and be like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, he's got to do something.
There's so much up in the air right now that hinges on something I didn't see coming a month ago, and it's potentially Matvei Michkov. Like I said
That's the other thing.
I said yesterday, I've just been operating under this assumption, like, okay, he's going to get here when he gets here, and I'm not going to think about it. But now I'm like, he's coming, and I have nothing to base this on. Like, I'm just... And if that's the case, it changes the strategy a little for me. I don't think it's time to go all in if he's coming, because he's going to be a 19-year-old kid, not a 23-year-old kid.
He's into it.
Like, there's still a lot that has to be done. I guess they don't have anything close to a number 1 defenseman.
Right,
They don't have anything close to a 1C.
No.
It's hard to get those things. I can't.
That's what I keep hearing.
You know, we've been looking for them for a while.
Yes.
At least one of these elements for a long time. But, like, it does change things. To me, it changes how you operate at the draft. It changes what you're going to do in terms of, okay, who do we trade? Who do we keep? Like, it makes so much more sense to keep Konechny to me if Michkov's coming now rather than in a year or two.
I wonder when we're going to hear about that.
So they said by the end of June there's going to be a decision. I just have this vision that the Flyers go up to draft at 12, and it's Danny... It's Jonesy, it's Hilferty,
and it's
Michkov.
Yes.
And then they announce the pick together.
Oh.
And then it's on, man. It's on.
Then it is fucking on.
Yeah.
I will be putting my $20 on the Flyers to win the cup immediately.
Like, I have no idea.
I don't know either. I don't know.
This is a much season than last offseason because they have, like, there's more different routes to go.
Yes. I just can't help thinking that everyone thought the Flyers were going to be ass last season. Everyone. Fans, experts, probably the Flyers themselves. Everybody thought they were going to suck last season, and they didn't. So there is a chance that this season, everyone will think they're going to stink, and they won't. And that will make a lot of people mad, but it's also fun.
I do, like, if I'm in that locker room, there is a part of me that's thinking, like, man, we worked our asses off last year. We did so much. We got better. We still missed the playoffs. Here's another year of playing for goddamn John Tortorella. Like, that has to be just, and I don't even mean that, like, the personality is one thing.
Yeah.
But the way he asks his players to play night in and night out, it's like by February, you just got to be like, I'm tired. And there's not going to be, like, we're not winning the Stanley Cup. You know, there's just got to be this, like, fatalism of, Jesus, I got to do this for how much longer? You know, for no payoff.
You're supposed to want to, my dude.
I know you're supposed to, but, like, they are human beings.
Yeah.
Like, if I was doing this show and nobody was watching it, at a certain point, I'd be like, you know what? Today doesn't really matter.
I want these players to be like 75,000% more delusional than I am at the start of the season. Like, I want them going in believing.
They all say they did believe at the beginning of the season we're much better than everyone thinks we are. Of course, I expected them to be a bottom 5 team. Mm-hmm. So they were very right about that.
Maybe they go into next season thinking we got so close. We push a little bit harder.
Maybe that made them hungrier. Maybe they learned what it takes and they're like, we fucking get it now. Last year was figuring it out.
Bill.
I guess that's the argument.
Maybe
they learned the John Tortorella, I can teach you to be a winner.
Yeah,
is true.
Yeah, they learned what it feels like to just miss.
They don't want to feel that again. All right. Before we get out of here, oh baby, work day wrapping up. That means it's time to chill.
Yay.
You know how hard I work. I got to chill after this.
It's true.
It's a tough life here. Man, whether you're worried about the hockey team, whether you're worried about your work day, whether you're maybe just sitting down, hey, the Phils are on right freaking now, man. You might be split. I hope you're split screen, and thank you for joining us. If you chose us over the Phils, appreciate it. But no matter what, there's no better way to chill than with an ice cold Coors Light. So find one, man. Find those Blue Mountains in the back of your fridge. Enjoy a beer as cold as the Rockies, because when your favorite baseball team is playing at a real high level against those stinking Mets, sometimes you just got to chill. So when you choose to rise above it all, choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/PHLY hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. That will do it for us today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you to our sponsor, Mortgage CS. Yay. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. You won't regret it. All right, that's it. So follow us wherever you follow us. I tell you every show right here on YouTube. Set those reminders so you never miss a live show. On Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. Wherever there are podcasts, PHLY Flyers. My name is Bill Mantz. That's Kelly Hinkle. Stay loose and sexy, Philly.
We all silly like the mayor.